At least 1,000 people are expected to march against racism in Langebaan outside Cape Town. Protesters are demanding swifter action against those accused of racism against black and coloured people in the area. The march comes after some in the area accused Springbok player Eben Etzebeth of racism. For more on this story, we're joined by our reporter Ronald Masinda live from Langebaan. Ronald, thanks for your time. What's the turnout at this march and what's the emotion like there?
Very good afternoon to you, Michael, here from Langebaan, where protesters have come out here in protest against racism. They are going to hand in a memorandum to the police station. That, of course, follows the recent events involving Springbok Eben Etzebeth. Not quite the large turnout that we expected, but for more on this, I am joined by Sammy Clausen of the Khoisan Defiance Campaign. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for your time. First of all, not the large numbers that we expected. Having spoken to some of the members, allegations have been thrown around saying that some white members of this area have offered alcohol to people to stay away from this protest. Can you confirm any of these rumors?
Yes, of course. We have a video footage that was taken this morning by one of our leaders in Langebaan. And it just shows the type of culture that exists in Langebaan. This is a town known for racist attacks on people of color. Just the last month, after the Eben Etzebeth case, 3 more cases were opened up at the Langebaan police station. Langebaan Super Spa has been targeted where a colored cashier was called by a white customer that sees just like the hot knots and the cuffers. And that case is now with the police, and it's also now with the Human Rights Commission. So, yeah, there was on social media quite a number of a floodgate just opened of white supremacists and racists attacking the victims, myself and the community, calling us Wynlappe, Bobbejane, and Leisgatte. So this is the culture that we haven't dealt with. South Africa has failed to deal with racism head on. The Rainbow Nation is a myth. It doesn't exist. It only exists when the Springboks are playing against New Zealand or against the world.
Okay. Mr. Clausen, I have to apologize for some of those explicit words, so can you please keep it there? But let's continue with our conversation. Of course, this is, of course, a big issue in Langebaan. But why now? Why now is racism such a big issue? Is it because of the Eben Etzebeth and how profile a South African sports star is?
You see, this case is not just about Eben Etzebeth. Yes. It is about the development of this town that have pushed African and black people to a small corner behind high walls. It's about a town where the white community are living exclusively behind security gates, electric fencing, and where they are now the dominant people in this community. The racism in Langebaan is as old as South Africa is. It became more prevalent when the elite, the powerful, and those who have money bought out plots, have built up luxury homes, and are living a lavish life at the expense of colored and African people. African and colored people are now in the minority in Langebaan. 10 years ago, we were the majority. And now we are exposed to people moving in from outside and who comes with their white racist mentalities against people of color because we are poor.
I have to come into that actual statement because having spoken to one member who is a businessman, a white businessman here in the area, he said that, look, at the end of the day, this seems to be politicized and not addressing the real problems. And this man also went on to say that he is here to actually also offer jobs to local people here. What are your thoughts on that? Because it seems to be a sentiment not only shared by him, but by many white people who live here in this area.
Well, because they are in denial. They keep on denying the fact that they've got issues with black people. Because when we started raising racism, they are calling us liars. Well, the courts and the justice system this time must be tested. Because you see, there's a history of these people in this town. Even Etzebeth and his brother Emil have been banned from 2 pubs in Langebaan.
Yes.
Pirates and Bazookies at Club Mykonos. The white people in this town has given us sworn affidavits, man, to tell us their story, to confirm the type of thuggish attitude that these guys have. They terrorize people. The night when this brutal attack happened, there were 3 incidents where even Etzebeth and his brother was identified. So this is not about charity
Politics.
and what white people do to us in terms of giving us. This is not a charity case. This case is about racism and justice, because they are denying us the opportunity. They are denying the black victims the opportunity to tell their story in court. They don't know, those outside, and these business people that is now saying they must go to the yacht club, they must go to the Watergat, and they must go to Langebaan Noord, where the victims of racism live.
Okay, Mr. Klassen, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you for your time. Well, there you have it, Mike. Certainly an area deeply divided in racism, and that's been the narrative that we've been getting since we arrived here. Now, one of the latest news that we also heard is that the Minister of Sports and Rec and Arts and Culture, Natim Tet, was saying that even Etzebeth will be guilty until proven, or proven until guilty. So until such time when he arrives back from the Rugby World Cup, perhaps it will only be then where we will perhaps see him in court and also try and answer to some of the questions that people here have been asking since that incident took place outside the nightclub.
Ronald Masinda, my colleague there in Langebaan at the protest against Ibn Etzebeth and racism in general there. A statement that really stays with you there is that the Rainbow Nation is a myth.